everyone, and welcome. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the full moon we have coming up this Friday, November 15th. And there are some things that make this full moon a little bit interesting. So it will be a full moon in the sign of Taurus, and we get almost always we get one full moon and one new moon in each zodiac sign per year. Occasionally we get two, that's rare. So we get a full moon every year in the zodiac sign of Taurus, and it always occurs around this time of year when the sun is in Scorpio, because we get these full moons when the sun and the moon are opposing. And the moon is viewed as being exalted in Taurus. And we can see why if we think about the qualities of the moon and the qualities of the constellation of Taurus. So the moon, it's very connected to our inner depths, our inner waters. It's connected to our emotions. It's connected to our physical body and our actual manifestation here on Earth. So where the sun might be viewed as more about our spirit, the moon is more our incarnation in this physical body. And all of the ups and downs that go with this process of being in a three-dimensional body. And as we look at the moon in the night sky, we see it wax and wane and vary constantly. So the energy of some of the planets and celestial bodies is stable and reliable. The moon is not that way. The moon, we might look up one night and it's a full moon. It's so bright, it's illuminating everything around us. We may, the next time we happen to notice the moon, it may be just a tiny sliver, a tiny crescent on the horizon. And there's this sense with the moon of you can't rely on it, just like we can't rely on our emotions. They change daily, sometimes hourly, or even every minute. Which is beautiful because the moon helps us to be in touch with the present moment, where we are right now. And that may not be the same as where we are in an hour or a day or a year. However, because of this, the moon is not a stabilizing force. Taurus, however, as the fixed earth sign of the zodiac, the archetypal bull, huge, stable, steady. Nobody's going to push a bull over. That bull is just solid. Taurus stabilizes the moon. And Taurus is one of the zodiac signs most in touch with the natural world. And so, with the moon, maybe we can get all caught up in our emotions and our inner spiritual, emotional world. But Taurus will help bring us back and connect us through to the three-dimensional world, through the trees, the rocks, the natural world around us. Taurus by itself can lead to, feeling stuck, getting, you are in a rut. You can't really get out of the rut. You're kind of continuing to move, but very slowly, almost that stuck in the mud kind of energy. But again, the moon helps Taurus move and change, so they complement each other really well. So this is why the moon in Taurus is viewed, this is one of the reasons, there are multiple, why the moon in Taurus is viewed as being exalted. So this is a full moon that many astrologers look forward to every year because the moon is in this exalted sign. What's a little bit different this year is that the sun and the moon will be at 23 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio at the time of the full moon, but Uranus will be less than 2 degrees away from the moon in Taurus. Uranus has been moving through, transiting Taurus for 6 or 7 years. So we have been having full moons in Taurus with Uranus semi-adjacent, at least within the same sign, for the last 6 or 7 Taurus full moons. However, this is really close. Within 2 degrees, we're talking about a close conjunction, and Uranus will have a lot of effect as a result on this full moon in Taurus. And Uranus energy, it's rebellious. It does not conform to social norms. Uranus wants to create its own path and is willing to tear down any structures, any relationships that are not in support of where it wants to go. Uranus energy is very important for all of us to keep us from getting stuck in a rut for our whole life and never moving forward. Our soul never learning, developing, growing, never pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone, always being content with the status quo. Uranus won't let us do that. So Uranus is a very important energy. As we think about Uranus conjunct this full moon, though, we're seeing, the moon already emotionally changeable energy combined with Uranus, kind of the rebellious, I'm willing to change everything up completely if it's not exactly what I want. Both of these planets are in Taurus, which does help to provide some solidity, some stability. But these two pretty changeable planets occurring, so close together at the time of a full moon, when the moon is at her brightest and most powerful, there is a lot of energy here for change. This can be an incredible opportunity for anyone who's feeling stuck and wants to move forward, wants to make some big changes in their lives. But it's also important to be a little bit careful because the moon, again, our emotions change daily, hourly, sometimes every minute. And with this full moon, it would be very easy to make a Uranian decision to tear everything down and start over based on the emotions of 1 hour of our day. And so it's important as we approach this full moon to think about the lasting changes we want to make, not the changes that, every once in a while I get really frustrated by this, but bigger, more long-term patterns of change we know we need to make in our lives. If we don't harness this energy well, we're likely to make a split-second decision that feels resonant with our emotions in that moment, feels resonant with Uranus's desire to change everything up and tear something down completely. But then if we wait another couple hours, our emotions may change. The moon may say, oh, no, I'm actually pretty okay with how that was, but it's kind of too late. We've done the Uranian thing and torn it all down. So as we approach this full moon, rather than just be led by our emotions and our Uranian desire to kind of rebel and tear everything down and start over, it's important to now, a few days before this full moon, be thinking about what are those big changes we want to make in our lives, because this full moon energy will absolutely help us make them. We just want to make sure we're not making this decision in the moment based on the moon and Uranus together, rather than thinking about the bigger trends in our lives, not how we feel in 1 hour or even 1 day, but how we've been feeling for months or years. So hopefully this is all helpful. Scorpio season, the sun is in Scorpio right now, so we are in Scorpio season. This is always a good time to spend a little more time internally focused, a little more time meditating. So if you have that in your practice already, wonderful time to be contemplating what big changes do I want to bring into my life and start initiating with this full moon in Taurus. The energy to change is there. We just want to make sure we're pointing that change in the best direction for each of our lives and souls. Hopefully this is helpful. Thank you all so much, and I wish everyone a beautiful full moon on Friday.